Here's your starting five. Welcome to the Final Word podcast, where our hosts will share their unique perspective on social issues, youth sports, and sports in general. And now, let's meet our esteemed panelists. Joe Philon, youth basketball coach and self-proclaimed media guy. Chris Ward, co-founder of the Skills Center and developmental specialist of Skills Center Elite Training. David Lamar, assistant high school coach and coach of Skills Center Elite 2027 travel basketball team. John Arroyo, co-founder of the Skills Center and director of Skills Center Elite Basketball. Andre Lewis, high school basketball coach and the Skills Center High School basketball coordinator. This is the Final Word.
What up, good people? How's everybody doing? We are back. As you see, we have a light panel today, just Dave and myself today. But we do have a special guest that Dave is going to introduce, and we're just going to get rolling, jump right in.
Hey, good evening, everybody. So as you guys know, we have Coach Link Donner on tonight. We're extremely excited to have him on. I'm just going to do a quick background on it, and then I'm actually going to let him do a bit better background than I have. Coach Darner coached at Florida Southern in 2015 and 16. He actually won national championship at Florida Southern. Then after they won national championship, he got plucked away by D1, and he went and coached at Green Bay for 5 seasons. He took them, I believe, to their first NCAA appearance when he was there. And they went to the semifinals 3 of the 5 seasons he was there, highlighted by a conference championship his first season. So I was mistaken. He won the national championship with Florida Southern 2014-15, then went to Green Bay and won the conference championship 2015-16. Coach Darner replaces Coach Schmidt, who's obviously an icon and been at UT for 40-plus years. But he obviously knows the Sunshine Conference very well. And I've talked highly about it for years. In my opinion, it's the top 2 Division II conference in the country. But without further ado, Coach Darner, welcome to the Final Word.
Well, thank you. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm excited. I'm excited to be back in the Sunshine State, and excited to be the head coach at the University of Tampa. And you know, I would agree with you on, you know, being one of the top 1 or 2 Division II leagues in the country. I think there's great coaches in the league. I've had some great battles with some guys that are still around, and then there's some new guys that have come on and some schools that have come on that since I left. But you know, I'm excited. When I was at St. Joseph's College, my first head coaching job in Rensselaer, Indiana, I think that was at the time probably the best Division II league in the country. And since it's split up, it's not near as good. But, you know, year in and year out, Kentucky Wesleyan, Southern Indiana, Northern Kentucky, Indianapolis, Bellarmine were always ranked in the top 5, 10, 15 in the country. And I still remember when I got the job at St. Joe, Bruce Pearl had just left Southern Indiana, went to Milwaukee, and he told me you're gonna end your coaching career because you're gonna start 0-10 every year, maybe 1-9, having to play those teams. And you know, we started out, my first year was a little bit of a struggle, but by year 4 we went 31-3, and we were ranked number 2 in the country. And then I was fortunate enough to come down here and spend 9 years at Florida Southern, and I'm fortunate to be back now at Tampa.
Go ahead.
Wow, Coach, real quick, like how did you get into coaching?
Oh, I grew up in a basketball family. My dad was a high school coach in Ohio and in Indiana. Actually, we moved to Anderson, Indiana back in 1986. And Anderson, Indiana was kind of the basketball capital of the world for high school basketball. We had 3 schools in the city. We had Anderson, which Jim was the wigwam, and it held about 9,500. And then we had Madison Heights, and Troy Lewis played at Anderson, went on to play at Purdue. And then we had Madison Heights, where they had many guys go on and play at Indiana, Stu Robinson, Winston Morgan, Ray Tolbert. And then and then Anderson Highland, that's where I played. We were kind of the three schools in the town. They had two morning radio shows on Saturday that the coaches went to. Pretty much every game was on either the radio or on TV. My junior year, Anderson sold 7,500 season tickets, which the only two schools sold more in the state, and that was Purdue and Indiana on season tickets. So it was kind of welcome to Indiana basketball. My first game we played, I was a freshman, and I was on the JV team. We played the Marion Giants, who were ranked number 1 in the nation. They had two guys by the name of Jay Edwards and Lyndon Jones. They had won the state 2 years in a row. And for the JV game, there were 7,500 people there for the JV game. So that was kind of my welcome to Indiana basketball. But I always knew I wanted to get into coaching. I didn't want to go the high school route. I wanted to go the college route. High school back then, it's changed now. Kids can move and change schools and do all that. But back then, you got whoever was in your district for your team. And I always wanted to be able to pick my team, pick guys that I thought would fit my system and things like that. So I went the college route, and I got lucky. I got done playing at Purdue in '94. We got beat in the Elite Eight by Duke. Played with a guy by the name of Glenn Robinson. And then I stayed on as a student assistant for Coach Katie for a year. And then I spent 2 years at Murray State. I went on to be an assistant at Lincoln Memorial for a year. And then I went 4 years at Ashland University and worked for a guy by the name of Roger Lyons. That kind of taught me the system I kind of use today. I made changes once I've been got to be a head coach, but a lot of the stuff that we do in our fast break system is things that he taught me. And he spent some time in the CBA and kind of developed this system, and then I kind of just took it from there.
Yeah, so, Dave didn't do you any justice at all on your intro, man. I
was going to ask him about Glen Rupp.
Yeah, so, look, I remember that team you guys had with the Big Dog, man. The Big Dog took the country by storm.
That team was tough.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite college players of all time, man. You guys had a really good group. I hated. I was one of those guys that did not like Duke, so I was really pulling for you guys.
Well, the amazing thing is back then Glenn averaged his junior year, the year he came out, he averaged 31 and 13 rebounds, 31 and 13. And that's amazing. And guys now average 24 and everybody goes on, but that was back when everybody stayed till normally their junior year.
Right.
But 31 and 13, and not to make any excuses, but if you go back to the Kansas game and you can Google it, Glenn dunks on Greg Ostertag in the first half, and Glenn had 30 at halftime that game, and Ostertag tells him, "You won't get me again," and Glenn said, "You want to bet?" and dunked on him again in the second half. He actually hurt his back, and that's why we got beat by Duke, but it was one of his worst games he played. He wasn't near what he was because of him having to dunk on Ostertag for the second time. But, I still think if we could have got to the Final Four, that was the year Arkansas won, and I thought that would have been a great matchup, us against Arkansas, Glenn against their team with, they had the Corey Beck and Corliss Williamson and those guys. Yeah, that would have been the big matchup. It was just, as I always say, to win in the NCAA tournament, the ball's got to bounce the right way, and you got to survive with not having any injuries or anybody get hurt or in foul trouble. And we were that close, we just couldn't get there. And the bad thing is for Coach Katie, I still think I love him to death. Think he's one of the best coaches to ever coach the game. Is he's a lot of times judged. I'm glad to see he's finally getting his just due to get into the Hall of Fame, but. We were hoping to get there to get that, because everybody always said he couldn't win the big one. And even though he won like 9 Big Ten championships, those are a lot of big games you got to win. But, we were hoping to get to the Final Four for him.
Right.
They, Coach Joe knows I'm bad with putting ages together. Was Matt Painter, was he on that team too?
He wasn't on that. He was the year before. Matt Painter was a year older than me, and then Conzo Martin was a year younger than me.
So look at the coaches that came out of it. You got Conzo Martin, Matt Painter, Coach Darner. Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's kind of like Bobby Knight, man. He puts out, some coaches. How much of a culture shock was it for you coming from Indiana basketball and coming to like Florida, in which, you might have 20 people at a game. I know Brad Ash, he coached at Rawlins a bit in St. Leo.
Yeah.
He's from up that way too, and we were at St. Leo together on the coaching staff with Hanks. He always talked about how he had 25,000 at his high school games, and I didn't believe him until he showed pictures.
Yeah, he was actually my teammate. He was a freshman my senior year.
Wow,
so
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, he played. He started his freshman year for us, and he played for my father. So I mean, it was a little bit. I mean, going even to St. Joe. I mean, at the time or anywhere, it's different. And back in that time, I think my senior year we had 36 guys that played. And I'm going to guess 30 of them went to play Division I or Division II basketball at some level in Anderson. But to go on and go somewhere where it's not as big now. Indiana basketball has changed, but we built that up when we got down here at Florida Southern. We had a good following, but we built it up, and I think we had a lot better following than when I first got here, and hopefully we can do the same thing at Tampa.
Nice, Sam. That would be good. I mean, we definitely need to get people at these games.
You said Florida Southern. So it's probably 2017-18 season. I think it was 17-18 season. And Coach Pekka, I'd go to some of the games there and at home, and Coach was like, you got to go out. You got to go see a Florida Southern game. I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, you don't understand. He goes, they'll get 2,500 people there. They'll be there. They'll be lined up on the side. They'll be packed. And so I went out. It was a year. Maybe it was 19 because Marcel Robinson was on that team. That team was pretty good. I played Florida Southern, who had the good guard. And and I was like, man, we need to get this in more of these Sunshine Conference games. And so, it kind of led to it. I think you were part of that whole, getting the community involved. And, Florida Southern, I've been to 7 different Sunshine State gyms. I've gone to Rawlins, been to UT 100 times, Eckerd, Florida Southern, St. Leo. I went to Florida Tech one time. I mean, how did you get so many people? How did you get the involvement from the community, to want to come to the games? Because it was a pretty unique experience.
Well, I think the first thing is I go back to my second year when we won the conference championship on a shot at the buzzer. Ryan Rayfield shot an air ball, and Zach Smith caught it and laid it in, and we beat Tampa at Tampa, and we ended up hosting the regional that year. And it was my first year, and our second year here, and I told the guys, because at St. Joe, my last year, we hosted the regional, and at 2:00, people started lining up for the 6:30 game to get in. And by 4:30, when they opened the doors, by 4:35, it was packed. So I told our guys, we won the conference. I said, you're going to see nothing like you've seen before. We're going to host the regional. It's going to be packed. It's going to be sold out. And we walked out there, and there wasn't 700 people there. And I think it was kind of a culture shock, and we got beat first round. And I was a little bit shocked as a coach, because I just thought that we would have that. And I think as time went on and we built the program and got it back to where it was, and winning always helps. When you win, people like to come see you. Trying to get involved with the students, trying to get involved in going and watching other student athletes participate. I do a lot of walking of campus. I do a lot of checking of classes of my players. And I think that gets you, because then the students see you out there. They say hi. You get to know them a little bit. They see that you care and that your basketball players are going to be more than just athletes, that they're going to try to do well academically. And you go support other programs, and you get out. Now, Tampa's a huge community, but you try to get out as much as you can and get people to want to come see you play and put a good product on the floor, get players to compete hard. And, as I always tell my players, the most important thing to me after the game, whether we win or lose, is I want people to say, boy, did you guys play hard. Because wins and losses will take care of themselves. But, boy, you guys are a fun team to watch. You guys compete. You play hard. Guys are diving on the floor. Guys are taking charges. Guys are excited on the bench. And I think that gets other people excited to come want to watch your teams play.
I think so. I mean, people want to come out and watch. I don't make any excuses for COVID. Actually, COVID was interesting to me just, in my personal life and basketball life. But, we had some momentum. There's a photo. I tried to find it, but it won't go back, where 2 years prior to COVID, the travel program that I was involved with, we went out to UT and we brought 50 students to the game, and actually Joe's son was there and my son, and it was really, and the players loved it. And then the next year, we did the same thing, and there was like 100 kids, and then we stayed after, went to where you had your press conference in the sword and shield room, met the players, and Coach Schmidt told some stories, the Ralph Sampson story that I've heard 50 times, and players are, and then COVID came, but I was fortunate enough to get to know Coach Schmidt. He my son my son's in 8th grade and went to UT camp and just got to know him pretty well. And I'm from up north. I'm originally from Maine. I'm a basketball junkie. My uncle played Division I, so I traveled around, followed him at the time, and I just think your new facility is a huge plus, right? It's a major upgrade to what it was before, and then the talent pool in Florida. So, one of the things that I am personally excited about having you getting the job is, looking back at your Florida Southern rosters, and I didn't read all of them, but you focused on Florida players. Now, you wanted to get the best player out there, right? But you concentrated on getting Florida players. I will say, and I've watched, I think the talent pool in Florida right now is pretty high. You're probably pretty well aware of it. Your son's a senior, and I should have said at the beginning, congratulations to you and your wife. I think your daughter just graduated this weekend. Yeah. So congratulations. Yeah. That's a big feat.
Thank you.
But what's I know you're, just getting back down here, but you obviously didn't lose the roots, because your son is here. What do you think about the talent pool in Florida and, of trying, and getting more Florida kids not to leave the state to go play D2 in another state and not playing in the Sunshine State Conference? What's your take on that? And I know you can't talk about players. I'm just saying in general. Right.
Well, I think the big thing is we want to recruit the area. I think that's how you help attendance. We had Kevin Capers for 4 years, local kid, from Winter Haven area. That brought people to come watch him play. We want to be able to do things like you talked about. Bring, the NCAA has changed a lot and changed the rules. You got to, as soon as you become this age, you become a recruitable athlete. But get younger kids to want to come and get their parents to want to come and watch us play and be able to do things like have teams come, have grade school teams come, different things like that. But I think recruiting the area is a big thing. I mean, that's the thing we always wanted to recruit. We wanted to recruit local kids and then build our roster out. And you're right. I mean, the talent level in the state is as good as any right now in any state. I put Florida up against anybody. And I'm fortunate. My son, I get to see a lot of kids play because I get to see him play. And but I think it's a big thing that we want to recruit. We want to recruit the Tampa area. We want the Tampa high school coaches, if they ever want to come to a practice, ever want to come watch us practice, we'd love to have them. In a way for us to get to know them, a way for them to come see us practice. But it's funny, when I got the job at Florida Southern, the Sunshine State League was a defensive league. I think every team averaged like 58 to 62 points a game. Mm-hmm. And I got the job, and I was told that my style will never win in the Sunshine State because it's a defensive league. And now you look, my last year until now, it's probably the best offensive league in the country. Every coach has kind of changed and said, okay, we can win this way. Let's play this way. And I think for the state of Florida, I think that's I think our style fits great. We're going to play very up tempo. Yep. We're going to get out and run. We're going to get up and pressure full court. We're going to do a lot of trapping, different things to kind of, cause a little chaos. As I've been told before, it's, as I was told on another job that it's just street ball that we play. It's not. We're very organized in what we do. It's just it's a different way of playing, but I think it's a great way, and I think kids want to play that way. Every kid asks in recruiting, how many points am I going to score? Well, the way we play, everybody has an opportunity to score because we're going to score a lot of points, and it's a fun system to play. And because we play fast, we've got to have a deeper team than what other teams have. We rotate guys in and out. I think it's a great thing for guys because they get an opportunity to play.
100%. Yeah, I saw somebody made a comment on Twitter. It says, your team, do you play like 10 players and not like 10 players that play, 6 that play 30 minutes and 4 that, play 8 to 10. You play 10 players consistently. So I think, from a recruit standpoint, that's pretty enticing, right? If coach is going to recruit you, you're not just going to be wearing a practice jersey. If you can play, you're going to get an opportunity. So I think that's exciting.
One thing I've always tried to do early is I play more guys. Yes, we want to win every game in November and December, but also we got to develop our team. And I think so many times guys get caught up in, I'm going to have a 7-man rotation and that's all I'm going to play. Well, all of a sudden that 7th man, all of a sudden you get a guy sick or a guy hurt, and now all of a sudden that 8th, 9th, 10th guy haven't played. And I would rather play guys early in the year. Now, when we get in conference play, our rotation will shrink down some. It might go from 10 or 11 guys to 9 guys. It might go from 10 guys to playing a majority of 8 guys. But at the beginning, because at some point you're going to have a guy get hurt. Probably my best team I ever had at Florida Southern, and we were undefeated. And Dominic Lane, kid from St. Petersburg, he breaks his foot. We're 18-0, and he breaks his foot. And we were 9-10 deep, and it still affected us and probably kept us from winning it all that year. But I don't know if we win it the next year, if we win it that year. So, it all worked out. But that's why I think it's important to have a deep team and give guys chances to play and see how guys do when the lights come on and how they perform, when there's some pressure on them.
Hey, Coach, how has the game changed in your eyes, and what's the most significant change to you?
Nobody shoots mid-range jumpers anymore, which I'm a big fan of. I had a guy in the Final Four game hit 7 shots from the top of the key, and I got a text after the game from an analytics guy that said, "Hey, Coach, can you tell number 30 to take a step back?" And he's shooting the ball in the dead area, and I said, my text back was, "Did he make them?" Right. And he said, "Yes, but if he had taken a step back, it would have been worth 3 instead of 2. Well, he was about a 67% shooter from that range, and he was about a 22% shooter from the other range. I would rather have him get to where he can make shots than go with the analytics of, shoot 9 threes if you hit 2 or 3. It's a great percentage. I'd rather have guys get to a spot where they can make shots. And we spend a lot of time shooting 15-footers. We'll spend a lot of time with our guys. I know it's kind of the thing that has changed and the analytics that have changed in the game. But at the end of the day, it's about the ball going in the basket. And I'd rather have guys get the spot, they can make it. And then a lot of times you'll see where coaches won't let guys shoot a 5-foot pull-up, 7-foot pull-up. It's either a layup or a 3. Right. And how many times do you see them go to shoot a layup and they miss it because they're getting challenged by 6'8", 6'9" guys? And if they would have just stopped and shot a 5-7-footer, their chances of going in is probably higher. So to me, that's the biggest change is analytics has really changed the game. And, everybody, Rollins was doing it 20 years ago where it was all layups or 3. When they ran the Princeton style. I mean, when I came in the league, that's what they did. But, it took a lot of teams. And if you look at the NBA game, all the stuff that I say it's funny, but the Princeton style, the stuff that Rollins was running, the stuff that Alabama Huntsville was running when Lenny Acuff was there, all NBA teams are running that now.
Right. Yeah, I think
who would have thought NBA teams would run a Princeton style offense?
Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the mid-range is coming back because I always talk about the NBA being a dog and it's wagging its tail. Everything trickles down. Like you see guys like Devin Booker and, Kawhi Leonard and those guys, they're getting to their spots, raising up and hitting those mid-range shots. So hopefully it will come back, but I agree with you 100%. But, Coach, also, how has recruiting changed over the years?
Well, I think that there's a lot more people involved in recruiting. AAU's become a lot bigger. Different. Kids have different workout coaches, strength coaches, and I think a lot of that has changed, especially at the higher levels. Maybe not so much for Division II, but at the Division I level where you got to touch base with everybody that's involved with the kid. Sometimes you don't. I like to recruit the player because I just think it's important to get to know him. But a lot of times at the Division I level, you're spending more time recruiting everybody else instead of him. And then, of course, the transfer portal's become a big thing right now, and I think it's like anything else. You know, sooner or later, it's going to come back down. Not everybody can keep transferring, but the portal's become a big thing in college athletics.
Yeah, especially Division II. It's I think it's a good and bad. Good and bad. I think you get some trickle down, and then you obviously lose some players. In the last 4 years, I'll tell my head coach, and I know this, but Jalen Cooper just left from I don't know. Why am I drawing a blank where Jalen was at?
Was it Nova?
No, he wasn't. The Nova guy though just left too. You had Max, Jalen Cooper, and then the Nova kid who was a stud left. Nova kind of does your offense, coach. They score 100 points a game. It's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's nuts to watch them play. So.
Yeah, they press no matter what. I haven't had the guts to press on misses and that, but they do that. I give them credit.
All right, Joe, why don't you I told him we'd keep them 20 to 25 minutes, so I don't want to keep them long. But, Coach, you mentioned it. I know you've been, you were in Florida, for a while, and you're at Florida Southern. I know a lot of coaches in the area, but, Tampa Bay Boys Coaches Association is one of the few, I've learned there's one of the few associations in the state that actually has, there's like about 40 coaches in the Hillsborough County that are part of it. They run their own summer league. And obviously, a good group of coaches in there. So they, I'll definitely get you connected, with the guys that run it. Todd Price, Steve Smith, Joe Willis, kind of do all the setting up the meetings and getting it going. And then, I've obviously Coach Tizagua, Coach Fenlon. I'm going to leave somebody out that I shouldn't. Ronaldo Garcia, everybody, most people are in it. It's a really unique thing. When I started coaching at Plant 5 years ago, Joe got me, Joe let me, go to everything, learn the meetings. It was pretty unique. There's not many of those associations around in the state. So obviously it's a good, they run their own summer league and, you'd be able to meet the kids. I know, I've talked to some kids in the area. They're excited to have somebody, somebody in the area that will, look at the kids and, try to get more kids from Hillsborough County to potentially stay at Tampa, or, Eckerd has 2 this year. So, two from the graduating class that are going there. I'll let you leave it with anything else you want. We really appreciate you coming on. It's, we got a lot of messages. I've got a couple boiler up messages from people here. So they obviously have known the background and, I'm excited. Justin's, everyone knows, Justin's a dear friend of mine, and he's excited. I talked to him the day he found out, and he's like, I didn't get it. He goes, but I'm going to learn a lot from Link. So, I know, I can say it selfishly. He's a good guy, and he's excited to work with you too. So,
well, I'm excited to have him on staff. He's been a huge help to me in the transition, and just being here for 14 years and then a student also. It's been great. He's been a great help, and we're excited. And, the summer league, we're allowed to start getting out on, I think it's June 15th. I gotta check I gotta get back to all the D2 rules now, but, June 15th, and we will try to get out and watch the different summer leagues. We just, once you guys know where they're at, let us know. And, one of us will definitely get out there to see you guys, see your summer league. And I think it's great what you guys are doing, having this and promoting, high school basketball in the area. I think it's a great area. I mean, I think basketball in the state of Florida is great, and I think it's a great area. I know they do a great job here in Polk County also, and so I'm excited. I think there's, we shouldn't have to leave too far to find players.
Yeah, no, McGriff plays in the league as well because he likes to play different teams, so it's good. But we'll let you go. I'll get the information over to you about the league.
Coach, I do have one more question, if you don't mind. I'm sorry.
I'm good. Go ahead.
All right. We came up around the same time, and to me, back in the day, an offer wasn't an offer until they came and sat down on mom's sofa. That's what I always say. What is it nowadays? You see these kids posting blessed to receive this offer. In your eyes, like, what is an offer and what does that mean?
Well, I mean, I think just me personally, when it comes from the head coach. And I think the offers you can offer kids, but I think when they come on campus is when you get them on campus and they see. I think that's when they're sincerely interested in come to play for you, and that's when you have a real strong interest in them. And I think when it comes from the head coach, I always tell kids, if the head coach recruit you, because at the end of the day, that's the one that normally makes the decision. Sometimes assistants do, but and you see kids get offered all the time, but I think when you get kids on campus, and that's when it truly is the offer.
So the official visit.
Official, unofficial, a kid comes over, you see a kid playing, you get them on campus. And, I like to do as many as we can in person. That's just me, but sometimes you just can't do that. But, I like to sit down and have kids on campus and do it there because I just think I like face-to-face. The whole visits of going to kids' homes is kind of changed because kids can come on campus now, right. Starting their sophomore year. So things like that have changed. And I think recruiting has changed. I think, personally, I think there's a lot of really good high school kids because of all the transfer portals that are getting passed up.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a lot of good high school kids that are out there. And I don't think a lot of times, kids realize how good Division II basketball is. I mean, right. I'll use Nova. Take Nova. I mean, they got a kid going to Memphis. They got a kid going to Georgia. I think they got another one going to College of Charleston. I mean, they've got three guys that are going to play at a very, very high level off their team. And I don't think people realize how good Division II basketball is. And, and if you come play this level, you got to be a very good player because it is a high level. And this league is a very, very high level league with a lot of really good players.
Yeah, they learn real quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
I say it a lot. I say it a lot, Coach. How the talent. I mean, I think every year. I mean, I know it's exhibition, but every year, somebody from the Sunshine State Conference beats or is close to a notable D1 team. Not this year. The year before, I think Nova lost to Auburn by 3 when they played, and then Auburn went to the Elite 8 that year. And I know when UT this year was leading on Stetson and leading on USF in their games. And, I know Barry, I think, lost to Miami by 9. Don't quote me on that. And then, Miami went to the Final Four. So the talent pool is huge. And I always tell players, there's a couple that, I talk to that I'm friends with, and they have a D2 school. I'm like, don't say no to it. Sign quick. Don't say no to it, and –
Well, I would agree, and we had great success. And some schools when I was at Florida Southern, they wouldn't play us they'd scrimmage us, so nobody would know who won or lost. And we did very well in a few of those scrimmages. But we had very good success. One time we played Florida on a Friday at 7, and this is the difference. And I tell people sometimes in Division II basketball, we played Florida Friday at 7 o'clock, and I played 11 guys. Every 4 minutes, I subbed 5 guys in and out. And we were down 6 at halftime, and I think Florida, this is when they had Patrick Young and Casey Hill. And we probably shouldn't have tried to press Casey Hill. But they ended up beating us by, I think, 16 or 18. But Kevin Capers played, I think, 21 minutes that game. And then we bussed through the night. And we played Tennessee at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. Wow. So we rolled into Knoxville at 7 o'clock. My biggest worry was, how are we going to get the uniforms washed and dried by 2 o'clock? And we were up in the first half on Tennessee, and with about 13 minutes to go, we kind of hit the wall of the travel and everything. But not one of our guys complained. It wasn't like, oh God, we got to play. We got to play Friday night at 7, and we got to bus 8 hours to play. Our guys are all like, let's do it. Let's do it. We don't care. And that's a little bit of the Division II mentality it's about, we'll go play anybody at any time, any place. It doesn't matter. And, we ended up having a great trip, and we played 2 SEC teams. And, I'm not saying we beat Florida, but I think it'd have been a closer game if I would have played my best 8 guys. Instead, I played all 11 because it was about getting us better and getting us ready for the season. But that was one of the trips that we did, and it was a great trip for our guys. They enjoyed it. But that was my biggest question, was how we were going to get the uniforms washed before our game on against Tennessee at 2. But then Kevin Capers, in this day and age, Kevin would have left after that year, because I think at Tennessee, I think he had 24 in the first half.
Oh wow, he'd be gone. All right, Coach. Yeah, well, I look forward to meeting you in person. I'll get all the information at Summer League over to you guys, and I really do appreciate you coming on with us. We're excited to have you, and we'll be at some games.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, and anytime you guys want to do it, I'd love to come on and talk basketball.
Sounds good. We'll definitely get you before the season. We'll do a preseason Sunshine State Conference. In October, we'll get you on.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, we'll see you.
All right, I'm a St. Leo guy, but I'm excited to have him, man. It's a really good time for Tampa basketball, man. That's a good hire, I think.
Up tempo. He's got energy.
Mm-hmm.
They think it'll be a good fit. I mean, it will be different than what we've seen there before. Probably see a lot of 85, 90-point games, and I think it'll be a good fit for the school, and excited about the opportunity. I know Justin's excited. People knew I wanted, was going for Justin to get the job, but he's pumped about it, pumped about the outlook and where we go from there.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to learn from him.
100%.
I like that.
The guy's a winner. So.
All right, let's take it straight from the source. What you got there, Torres? Go ahead and hit us with the intro.
With the skill and guile it takes to run a pool table.
That mic still hot.
Your host for this segment spares no expense to find the hidden messages. In his search to uncover the truth, he exhibits limitless effort to bring you the story no one else can find. David Lamar presents Straight from the Source.
All right, straight from the source. So we got a couple things, but the first one is Tampa's own. We posted it. Tyson Ward and his team won the FIBA championship. I think it was pretty cool. I was driving on Friday with my family. We were driving somewhere, and I was streaming the game on my phone. While my wife was driving, I was streaming it. My son was watching it. We were going crazy because they were up 9, and they pretty much did everything possible to try to lose the game. And then they won yesterday, so they were the champions. I was on the phone with John last night. John's like, I got to let you go. Chris is calling. This was 10:30 our time. It was 4:30 a.m. Chris was calling John. Chris is traveling back. What an opportunity as a dad to be able to get on a flight Thursday afternoon, get over there and watch your son play in such a really cool atmosphere. It was like watching European soccer. Like, the crowd was crazy. So congrats out to Tyson and his team. And John's traveling this week, and Dre's learning how to march. He's only done it for about 15 years, so that's why Dre's on PTO. Straight from the source, I posted it today. We don't need to put the graphic up, but it's not straight from me, but we got a big change coming. In my opinion, we got a big change coming from high school basketball. So now, high school basketball, I think everybody knows, but once you get to 7 fouls and a half, it goes to 1 and 1. When you get to 10 fouls, it goes to 2 shots. They're now changing it. Every quarter, when you get to 5 fouls, it's going to be 2 shots. And then it erases. So at the end of the first quarter, you got 6 fouls. It erases, then you go to second quarter, you get the 5 fouls, you shoot 2 shots again. It's really going to put a premium, A, on free throws, and B, the reverse of that is, now do you foul somebody because it's not a 1 and 1? So now he has 2 opportunities to make the shot, and doesn't miss the first one. If he misses the first one, the ball's not live. So this rule just got passed nationwide. I know some other conference had it. Somebody mentioned the SIA conference had it, but the National Federation of High School Sports just adopted it. So So it'll be interesting. I mean, I think it changes the game big. I mean, I think it's going to change the game.
How so? Because I saw what you posted. Now it makes it more important to make free throws. I think the other way makes it more important for the simple fact that
you might be right. I thought about that too.
Yeah, because if you get the 1-and-1, you miss that front end. 0 + 0 is 0.
Correct. But so I agree. But then I'm like, now if he fouls somebody, he doesn't miss it. Now he's got a second chance. It's interesting. I just think the whole game changes at the high school level because
I think it puts more pressure on the defense because now you're guaranteed 2 free throws once you hit the bonus, in which you're getting to the bonus 2 fouls earlier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it puts more pressure on the defense.
You're probably right.
Yeah. So, and it also gives the refs a little bit more control.
It does give the ref more control. So there's that.
There's that.
It will be interesting. They, I made a joke when I was talking to Willis today. I was like, I don't have to worry about tracking fouls now is really important, like for players and all that. So, I'm just a lowly assistant, but I think everybody knows though. But I'm not coaching next year at Plant. So once the season was done, and Will, Noah, Marshall, and Shane, Jackson's gonna be a freshman. It was tough because Joe's one of my closest friends, and
got to say Willis, man. So I'm Joe.
So Joe Willis. We talk 10 times a day, but this year was tough because I missed almost all of Jackson's games at prep, and he was like, you can't do it for the 4 years in high school. So it'll be interesting though. Now I'll be a fan watching. And
how'd you miss games? He was playing middle school.
Jackson was not playing middle school this year.
Oh, that's right. He played JV. He did. That's messed up. I didn't get to see a game.
Yeah, I
feel bad now. I feel like a bad friend.
It was interesting. They were like, they put on JV, and I was like, everyone's like, you didn't want to play middle school, and I was like, I'm going to tell a guy that's got 700, 800 wins what to do. And it was a great I actually think, and I'm talking about Jackson, but I actually think it helped Jackson a lot on the travel circuit because this year he's gotten a lot stronger. He played against, some games he played against grown men, and I actually really see the benefit now. And I had a couple of parents saying, like, man, that's crazy. Like, you missed out on middle school. I'm like, it doesn't matter. So
yeah, middle school is not where it's at. If your kid is good enough and he has the opportunity to go to a school and play JV as a middle schooler,
just to learn physically.
Yeah, that's just the physical aspect of it, and the more games, more quality games, you're going to get better by doing that. So I know, like Brandon Academy is a situation that you can do that. Bell Creek, Tampa Prep,
Berkeley,
you can do it. Who else?
Who else did it?
There's some schools out there that you can get it in. So, but definitely if you can do that, that's huge because we talk about it all the time. Middle school basketball in Hillsborough County is a joke.
It's a joke.
5 games and math teachers coaching the team or whoever they can find.
It's the hardest thing, whatever. It's the hardest thing, I think, also to get kids out of those bad habits. Marcus Rose, I love the kid to death. He's one of my favorite players. He'll literally run through a wall for you. Chris loves him. But middle school basketball hurts him because he's so stronger and physically that he just can drive by them and score. And then when he comes and plays travel basketball against good players, he tries to do the same thing, and it takes him 6 to 8 weeks. Now, when Marcus was in 6th grade, he didn't learn and grow from it. Now he has, but I actually think middle school basketball hurt multiple kids on our team, and they got him out of their sequence where they could just run by these kids, no one could guard them.
Right.
We went to a tournament. I tell everybody we're a team of everybody lives 14 miles from our gym. I don't find anybody in. We went to Memphis, and I had 2 kids that just won their middle school championship. They were the best player. We went to play Texas Summit. They punked us, right? We tried to drive through the middle. The guys and then we played Gateway Nights, and they out-fundamental us. And I came back, and I had a hard talk with a couple of these guys, and I'm like, you are not the best player anymore. You're playing with a team of best players, and you can't just run through them. To those 2 kids' credit, we went and played, I know we wanted to bring this up. We went and played 2 weeks ago for my team, we've never really played like national tournaments. We started as a D2 team in 6th grade.
Right.
Then last year we group got better in this year. This was probably our first real tournament besides next gen. Our first 2 games. I mean, I actually think they did it to see how good we are. I actually loved it.
I had to break y'all last in.
Yeah. Our first 2 games were against Team Curry, which is the name on, and then Stars Basketball, who is unbelievable. If they had it. And we played Team Curry. They were literally like laughing at us when we were on the court.
Right.
We beat them by 7, and we should have won, but we played terrible. But then we play Stars Basketball. Now, if anyone, Stars Basketball is legit. They've beaten big-time teams in Florida. I was like, man, this can be tough. We should have won the game. It was 62-62. We went to overtime. One of our players literally got tackled going through the lane. He's actually on crutches right now. We lose 64-62 in overtime. The next morning we get up. We don't have kind of our glue, our heart and soul guy, E-Man. We don't have him. T-Bear's ankles tied up. We play Atlanta Express. They think they're going to run over us. We beat them. And then we play the other Stars team, who 2 weeks ago they lost to in overtime, and then we lose to them by 3. We came back 2-2, and I'm so proud of my team. We should have been 3-1. We could have been 4-0, but I'm now seeing the benefits of going out on the road. But I don't regret any decision I made in my team of doing it the way I did it with my team, because the way we're made up, and I don't have guys on my team that we just go and do it in 7th grade. I think it would have hurt us. Like, I'll use XPC, Jadrick's 8th grade team. Jadis, he's 6'6", and he's gotten fundamental. We'll use JoJo and Braylon and that team. They've done it since third grade. You go and look at the other team in the area, O'Neill's team, when they go and do it. They had the makeup of it. And so, I had to learn how to do it, with our team, and then learning from Joe's team and London's team, who've done it for a while. And it's been interesting to do it, because we never really went out on the road. Why'd I got you laughing?
No reason. All right. Nah, that's a good look from me. That's a good look from you guys, man. Going 2-2 out there, because those are really good teams, man.
Beating Stars would have been huge for us. We should have won that game.
And John's team also went.
John's team went 2-2, and their 2 losses where the teams were 8-0. So John lost to a team he lost to by 27 last year, I believe, and should have won that game. He had a shot to win it. I was sitting there. He had a shot to win the game, and then he lost to another team. I think he lost to by 9 last year. So he went 2-2. Both his teams they lost to are 8-0, and he lost by a combined 4 points. So John's team really impressed out there. I think the girls, I don't want to quote it wrong, the girls went 3-1, and I think our 6th grade team went 2-2. And our girls team probably should have gone 4-0. The team they lost to, they'll beat them if they play them again. So,
Torres, can you get John Arroyo on the line here, because he's commenting in the he's commenting down there. I don't know what he's talking about, but we need to get him on the line. Ja Rule. All right, so who else? So those are the only other two teams we have on the circuit right now. 7th, 8th,
in middle school.
Right, middle school. 9th and 10th.
Yo.
All right. So we got John Arroyo on the line. So you say you got something to say. What's going on?
I got something to say. First of all, my squad been traveling since the 2nd grade.
You gonna bring that up? 'Cause I got a story to tell about that.
All right, since 2nd grade. Yeah, Joe started that.
Nah.
Second of all,
was that his New Orleans trip?
That was New Orleans, baby. That was New Orleans.
John barely made it to the game.
Second of all, I agree with Dave on that playing JV. We don't have that at junior school. Luckily, our middle school doesn't play like the Hillsborough County. Like, we got to play Berkeley, we got to play St. John's. We went all the way to Pinellas County, played a Christian school over there.
Do you play the middle schools or the JVs?
Nah, they're middle schools, but Pinellas County Christian schools, they're pretty damn good.
Okay.
And they play like 14. They play like 14 games too, or something crazy like that.
Gotcha.
How many games do you play?
Almost 20.
20.
So you think those games are better to play in JV? High school?
Some of them, yes.
because we played slam and they had 2 or 3 kids that were on the JV high school team.
Gotcha. Okay. So they had,
you know,
2 or 3 kids from the JV on their team.
Right.
So that make it better. Then.
I mean, have you seen JV basketball?
Yeah, I was messing with you.
I got something to say. I got something to say. But no, so I agree with Dave on that. But also, like, let me tell you a little story about, you know, and I do see it around here. People keep trying to cheat or just, you know, just do some old corny shit, you know, changing birth certificates, changing grades and stuff like that. But we were playing a team that was pretty damn good. And we were down by 13. It was actually Team Charlotte. Down by 13. Was coming back. 10 minutes left in the game. A whole new starting 5 came in who did not warm up, who were not on the bench. In the timeout, I went up to the referee and I said, "Yo, is it me or did they get a whole new squad?" He looked. He's like, "Nah, that's a whole new squad, bro." And Joe, when I tell you it was 6'3", 6'3", 6'2" coming in the game. And they didn't even warm up. It looked like they came from another court. So I say all that to say we still had a chance to win it. We came all the way back, threw the ball away with like 4 seconds left, down by 2. But I really don't understand how parents, coaches feel comfortable allowing these kids to either play down or even to the point where, yo, you really are 8th grade and you playing 7th grade. Now it is what it is. Like I'm playing up this weekend. I played up a couple weekends ago, so I think that helps. But I don't know if that helps the kid who's doing it. I don't know if that helps. So that's just something to talk about. I don't know why people do it. Is it an ego? Is it a trophy? I got a bunch of trophies I can donate. Just let me know.
I mean,
let me know if y'all need me to sell them.
I think it's unethical, but also too. I think it's just, you know, it's teaching kids not to be honest, basically. I mean, in life, because we talk about it all the time. A lot of what we learn playing in youth sports and coaching in youth sports, we carry over into life, you know, life skills, corporate America, or whatever the case may be. And, you know, at the end of the day, what are you teaching the kids? You know, playing with the cork bat.
No doubt. I seen a kid walk in and I asked him the other day, and I was like, "Yo, y'all playing today?" I didn't see y'all. Oh no, we're playing up. And I was like, "You playing up, bro? 2 of your kids are 8th graders. What you mean?" Like, nah. Oh yes, they are. Like, I wish there was a system.
Like, how did you know they were 8th grade though?
Huh?
How did you know they were 8th grade?
Oh, I got people where I got peoples all over the place. Just like when somebody said, "Man, I come get you, boy. You see that red dot on you, boy? I got peoples everywhere." What I'm saying, yeah, I know. But I wish there was a system. And it's not to say that, yo, don't play down or whatever. I mean, I'm saying that because I would do it. That's just like Junior playing 6th grade. Or Mike. Can you imagine Mike, who actually just turned 13 playing 6th grade? Yeah. But my thing is, there should be a system. And I think it starts with the tournaments. The tournaments allow this because either they get lazy, they don't want to lose money, so they don't really check. But imagine if there was a system where you upload your report card or your birth certificate and it attaches to the school district. So can't nobody, oh, I forgot it. Oh, let me fax it to you. Oh, let me change it. You know, that type. So I wish there was a system like that. I mean, they got a whole bunch of systems. I don't know why that hasn't been developed, but I think it should be because you got people that, and this is for the teams that are playing at their grade level, but it's also for the kids. They don't get nothing out of it. You dominate a grade that you're not even in. And you really, and the sad part about it is, and I'm getting long-winded, so I'll let y'all go, but the sad part about it is the kids that are doing it don't even dominate. Now that's sad.
Well, I mean,
and I'm not here to
their days are numbered.
Right.
You know, because a lot of times those kids are bigger, stronger, older at a younger age, more mature, and then by the time they hit high school, they're not the bigger kids anymore.
Not the fastest kids.
Right. They're not the fastest, not the strongest, and, you know, they kind of get passed up. But then you also see a lot of those teams, they abandon those kids as well once they.
Oh, no doubt.
And that goes for even the ones that aren't older. They're just bigger. They just grew faster and stronger at an early age. And then once they get to high school, you don't see those kids anymore.
Correct. My biggest thing is I always tell parents, I'm like, look, you can go over there. Yeah, that's free. Yeah, you're doing this, but you're a slave to the game. They're just using you until they don't need you no more.
Right.
And once parents understand that, they'll get a lot more out of the kids. Because like you say, the best 5th grader will not be the best 9th grader.
Right.
Majority of the time. The quickest guy is not going to be, athletic ability will catch up. So, but it's interesting. But I say that to, that Under Armour joint, that was pretty cool. Like I said, we saw some big boys. Atlanta Express, they had 3-4 kids dunking in the line, 7th grade. And it was a hell of a game. We knocked them off, which that's the team that Dave is saying that beat us last year. So our boys, when we click, we good. And so it's pretty cool, though, man. I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed seeing it was Hard Work Hoops, Powerhouse Bulls. As soon as I see them in the parking lot, like, it's family. Like, I told them, like, yo, it's Florida. Hopefully we can continue that in Florida, but not only just in Florida, in Tampa, when you see other teams do that, because I saw them cheering for us, and we looked over and we cheering for them. So it's dope to see that.
That's what it's all about. Because when we were in Arizona, we saw Powerhouse there, Wayne and all of them, and we invited them over to the mansion house we were at, to come barbecue. Nice. We actually went and bought some extra food and stuff. They couldn't make it, didn't make it. Wayne hit me up and was saying that I guess they already had some stuff planned, because it was kind of last minute. Because I was surprised. Right. I didn't know they were going to be there. And so when I saw them, I invited them. But, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, man. Like, we get on that road, we got to band together. We got to learn how to do that. So,
No doubt.
Everybody ain't on that, though, so.
Right. Nah, they not. They people want you to lose or whatnot. But my last thing, man, Joe, you got me with these referees, bro. I'm going to tell you this. There was a lady referee and then a man referee. And they were making some calls, but it was kind of even a calls. But, I'm gonna be funny, but I'm also gonna, I guess you can say complain. So there was a time where the lady, I gotta buy me a new shirt that says I'm not the assistant, even though I am the assistant. But the coach for the other team went to the scores table, and they took a point away from us. So I walked up because Dave was talking to the huddle. I walked up. The lady said, "Yo, you got to get away from the table." Referee, I said, "He's at the table." He said, "You ain't nothing but an assistant. Go sit down." Woo! I went off.
Yeah, you the assistant, bro.
So, right. I'm the assistant. I'm gonna give me a shirt, though, because you know what I told her? So the front of my shirt is going to say, "I am not the assistant." And the back of this shit, I'm going to say, "I run this whole thing, bitch." And that's what I told her. I'm like, "No, I run this whole shit." But anyways, the lady said,
you ain't the assistant, though.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn, Joe. Don't call me that shit. But look, so the lady said, "Look, I know people like you. You a bully. You ain't going to bully me." I couldn't do nothing but laugh, bro. And I went and sat down as the assistant should. All right, man. I'm watching y'all. I'm in D.C. I holla.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
All right, so what else you got, Source?
And then a couple other things we posted. I updated it last night, but a couple of kids from the county are doing real well, getting some notice. Joshua Lewis and I told people to send him in, but they're not, so I'm just going to go off what I find. So Joshua Lewis had a session 3 of EYBL. He played really well. He had one game, I think he had 19 and 11, and I saw a couple scouts, even one scout mentioned like he's should be getting more notice, more attention. Carter Knox is leading EYBL in scoring. He had a game. He had 28 against. Maybe Team Thad or somebody, but Carter's leading EYBL in scoring. He's shooting over 50% from the field. Jermel had a good weekend with the Knight Riders. I think he had a game of 13 and 9. I posted on there. And then I didn't post it, but I actually read it today, which is weird because I'm the one. I always mention Finch is having Finch. I guess Finch from TC had a good weekend as well. Probably a tough spot for him. I haven't watched him play, but Reese is on that team, and obviously he gets majority of the minutes. Very talented.
Donovan Williams, another really good
guard. So. But, I started somebody else mention when he was on the court, he made good plays. I've talked about him in the county. I think he's one of the best guards we got in Hillsborough County. So,
That's a really good team.
That team punched their ticket to Peach Jam, so 17s and 16s. I don't think 15s have a punchy yet for Florida Rebels. I think there's only one kid from Hillsborough County on the 15s. Is there even one, actually? I don't think there is. No. 16s have 2, and then the 17s have 1 plus, and then Daniel from St. Pete, Daniel McGregor.
So not a Hillsborough County kid, but this kid in JoJo was on the same team in Chicago in the May Hoops All-Star, get the top 20. He's the best 8th grader I've seen. His name is AJ DeBeyonce or something like that.
Yeah.
Man, after I saw him in Chicago in 8th grade, I was saying that he is college ready right now. And people was like, bro, you crazy, you tripping. I'm like, nah, this kid is like college ready right now from what I've seen. And I don't know if you noticed, but he's playing 17s, and he's the second leading scorer behind Carter Knox.
Crazy.
1 point behind him as a freshman. And he's that good, man.
He's pretty
that kid, he play, man.
He's the second leading scorer, and he's 15. Wow.
Yeah, he's good. I don't know how old he is, but he's good. He's college ready.
That's and then I'm excited to go to the first summer league game. That transfer portal's hot.
Yeah, I heard.
Hillsborough County,
I heard the Hillsborough County High School transfer portal is going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
Be real crazy. I'm excited to see what's going to transpire. But I want to experiment with a new segment I want to try. Hit me with that new intro, Taurus.
And now Joe Phylon presents You Make the Call.
You make the call. All right, so let's go with that first video. This is something I'm gonna experiment with. You know, I'm always recording games and stuff like that, and I have a whole file of 160 clips of calls. But I'm gonna let you guys make the call. Let you guys guess it. I sent you the video. I think it's like a minute and something. It's a little on the longer.
Torres, when we come back after holiday break, I'm gonna do like a live poll, and when Joe posts, I'm gonna put it up in the group and have people vote on it.
Zeron. Yeah, Zeron, I think that's going to get me in a little bit of trouble through the year, man, especially when the high school season starts. I think I had to inbox it to you on Facebook.
No, you did.
So this weekend you got the Mayday Hoop Fest coming up. It's gonna have a lot of local high school talent playing, and so it's gonna be pretty good. High school boys are at Brooks to Barlow, right? All the games for high school at Brooks, or no?
Yeah, I don't know who did the schedule like that, but they we put all 17s and 2-16 games at Brooks.
Okay.
So we kind of did that for a reason. So put all the 17s there. Got some good teams in it. Teams that are getting ready, for next weekend. So we got 9 teams in the varsity division, we're calling it. And we got 5 in the 16s. And then we got 10 in the 9th grade division. So
nice.
8th grade division. We actually, we'll do a different topic, but the gym situation in Hillsborough County is, actually, you know what? Gym situation in Hillsborough County is awful. I can't wait for a gym to open. I was there last week. I went up to the gym, got a tour. Again, it's really exciting, but we turned away 9 teams. Like, my team's not even playing in the tournament this weekend.
Why?
Well, A, had one kid hurt, but we couldn't even fit him in. Like, we don't have enough gyms. So we have.
Yeah, you could have fit that team.
No, we have 3.
How many players you got on your team?
We have 3 skill center teams that we had to turn down numbers wise because they're already registered, and then we turned away 12 other teams. We turned away like 15 teams because we couldn't get gyms.
So who's not playing? You.
I'm not playing. Our second 6th grade team's not playing, and one of our high school teams isn't playing. I don't think.
Which one?
Not sure if they know. No, they are playing because they changed division, so they are playing. So one of our high school teams played up to make it work because they weren't going to be able to play because of number wise. But the reason we need more gyms. We can't even, because you can't use any of the public high schools because they're impossible to rent from.
So Taurus, when we run this, am I gonna be able to talk over it And they can hear me? All right. So
Is that JoJo?
Yeah, that's JoJo. I got JoJo on there because he has to cover up the ref because I don't want you guys to see what the ref actually called the signal. But this is you make the call. All right, so go ahead and play it. So this is in the state Final Four game with Wharton as Carmelo Branch misses a three. Big, strong guard here. He's a really good player, D1 talent. I forgot where he's going. He goes to the basket, hits Chandler. What's the call here? Is it A, a block? Is it B, a charge? Is it C, a jump ball? Or D, the ref called nothing at all? So in the chat, go ahead and put your answer down. A, B, C, or D. Keep it going, Torres. Are you going to stop it, man? Come on, man. You messing up my first.
A, block. B, charge. C, jump ball.
Well, you started it over?
D, nothing.
Torres, what are you doing, man? That was the Jeopardy theme he's playing right now. That's when it's showing this. Do. So yeah, just let that roll. All right, they got 30 seconds.
When do I get the vote?
Hadaz put A. She said it was a block and foul.
Do I vote in the? I'll vote in the chat.
What you got? What you got, Dave?
What I would call or what he called?
What's the call here?
I think they called nothing.
You said they called nothing. All right, so here's the full play one last time. Let's go end with this. So here's the full play all the way through. So you say nothing, and Hadaz says it was a blocking foul.
They can't call jump ball.
You make the call. Hadaz is correct. They called a blocking foul on that. Me, I had it as a charge. It was clearly a charge. Just let that play one more time.
He dropped his shoulder. It's clear.
Yeah, it's definitely a charge. Kid didn't even try to shoot that, man.
Yeah, well, he drops his shoulder here. Yes,
it's a charge. Like, so what is Chandler to do as a defender there? And it was a Hillsborough County ref that made that call. Unfortunately, but I covered him up so you can't see who it is.
No, it can't be Hillsborough County.
It was a Hillsborough County ref, and because Gonzo even said he don't think it was right for them to give him that game because there was pressure on him to not make the calls.
I thought they weren't allowed to ref.
Nah, man, he was reffing Hillsborough County. Wow. All right, so that's the little segment I'm experimenting with. You make the call.
We only get one video this week?
Well, I got that. I got another video I sent that I want to give. Is another segment I want to experiment with. It's going to be for all of us. It's going to be called "Give Them Their Flowers While They're Still There." So I'm gonna have an intro made, but it's still under. But I'm gonna try to roll with it today. I'm gonna freestyle it. So go ahead with that next video, Torres. Don't start it right away. What is this? Is that what I sent you? No, this is it. What the hell was that you were playing before that?
That's an old video.
Okay.
That was JoJo, right?
Yeah. Well, this is JoJo too. So I want to give flowers to Chris Ward while he's still here today, because this is a play that JoJo had that he made in the. I want to say this might have been South Carolina. I don't know if it was Arizona or South Carolina. He gets a steal, and he was telling me that a lot of people are, telling him like, wow, one dribble from half court or whatever and getting to the basket and stuff. And he was saying, I just thought that was just normal. But I want to give Chris Ward his flowers today because 6th grade, Chris was working on this with JoJo. 7th grade, he was working on it. He would hand him the ball at half court running. He has to take one dribble and get to the basket. He was doing it over and over again through repetition. Now, in a game situation, he gets a steal, one dribble, and he's at the rim. And the training that Chris was giving him has actually paid off. So I want to give him his flowers. So go ahead and play it, and I'll run it back. And this is not to promote Chris's training or anything like that, which he is a great trainer. And this is not to promote my kid, but this is I just want to give him his flowers because, see, here's a steal, one dribble, and he's at the rim.
Pretty impressive.
And, and that's from Chris's training, man. He's taught him that. He's taught him how to use that space, not waste. I mean, how many times do you see kids dribble 4 or 5 times? You know what I'm saying? They get cut off, give the defense time for them to get there. So you can go ahead and cut it, Torres. But that's the new segment I'm going to have. That's for any of us, anytime any of us are here and we want to give somebody their flowers while they're still here, and it's going to be a nice intro for it, we're going to go ahead and do that. How does that sound? I think that's a good segment.
I like it.
All right. And is that? I got to tell you my story of this dumb. I didn't tell Dave what I did yet. I said I was going to save it for the podcast. But this is probably the dumbest thing I have done probably in life. All right, so I flew in from Virginia like 1:00 a.m. this morning. So I was in Virginia for Mother's Day. JoJo and I had to fly back early because he had testing today. Jersey and Tasha got in later, just a few hours ago. But I was in Virginia. They do a Mother's Day thing. We all went to church. And they were cooking at the house. All the moms, all the ladies cooked, and everybody's going to come over there and eat. Big family get-together function. So Tasha's cousin, Troy, he didn't make it to church or whatever, so they sent me to go get him. Now, they're from South Boston, so it's country as hell, just one long-ass road, and there's a store called Smiley's on this road. So I drive to go pick Troy up from the house by myself. But it's a straight shot, so I know how to get there. So I go to the house and pick him up, knock on the door. My phone doesn't work very well up there. He doesn't answer or whatever. So, so I'm driving back. So I see Troy, or who I thought was Troy, walking down the street with a backpack on his back. And he was, man, I promise you, dude looked just like Troy, backpack on his back, all of that. So I pull up and stop, and he opened the door, and I didn't realize it wasn't Troy until he sat down in the car. What? Yeah. So I'm like, hey, I said, my bad, bro. I thought you was somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I was he got in. And I said, hey, I thought you was somebody else, man. My bad. This. He was like, man, nah, bro, just if you could, please just drive me straight down here, just past, And I flew there, so I don't got my Roscoe on me or nothing. So I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna be cool or whatever. I take this dude down the street. So we driving down the street, man, and it's probably like a 10-minute ride. So I asked him about the game. He was like, I hadn't really been watching. You know what I'm saying? It was the Celtics was getting ready to play that with Philly, and I was like, I ain't really been watching this year either, or whatever. And so he had his bag, bro. So he's looking in the bag. He closed the bag up real quick. And so I was like,
it's just you in the car.
Me and him. And so I was like, bro, what you got in the bag? And then this is where it gets crazy, right? So I asked, what you got in the bag? He said, none of your damn business. Like that. So I thought he was joking. You know what I'm saying? So I laughed, right? And I was like, man, what you got in the bag? And he was like, none of your damn business. I said, okay. I see right now I got to get dude out of my car somehow, some way. So now the only thing on this, and it's a straight shot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, so Smiley's right here. And so I pull up in Smiley's. It's a
convenience store,
gas station, hot food, just a little bit of everything in Smiley's. So I pull up in Smiley's. I said, hey, man, I don't have my ID. Can you run in here and grab me a beer? I gave him a 20. And I said, man, you can, and just get you one too or whatever you want. Because they always ID in Smiley's or whatever, which they do. Yeah. And so he was like, all right. So he get out the car to go. As soon as he went in that store and that door closed, I pulled it down. It took off with his bag and everything, dog. Just left.
Wait, you kept the bag in the car?
Yeah. Kept his bag, everything.
Did you open the bag?
Of course. Of course I opened the bag.
What was in the bag?
None of your damn business. Take us out, Taurus. Your nose ass. Look at John, too. None of your damn business, John.
When it comes to sports talk, they keep it live without the jive. And now, here's your starting five. Welcome to the Final Word podcast, where our hosts will share their unique perspective on social issues, youth sports, and sports in general. And now, let's meet our esteemed panelists. Joe Philon, youth basketball coach and self-proclaimed media guy. Chris Ward, co-founder of the Skills Center and developmental specialist of Skills Center Elite Training. David Lamont, Lamar, assistant high school coach and coach of Skills Center Elite 2027 travel basketball team. John Arroyo, co-founder of the Skills Center and director of Skills Center Elite Basketball. Andre Lewis, high school basketball coach and the Skills Center high school basketball coordinator. This is the final word.